All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again here to Virtual Racing Network. We are here at my personal home track at Texas Motor Speedway, where everything is bigger here in Texas. It is going to be a great race here. We currently have 12 drivers that have been registered, and we're seeing some pretty good times come in. But before we get all into the racing details tonight, we want to thank all of the partners that have come on board here for the 2018 season. Starting with the racing side of things, of course, we couldn't get far without these following partners. Our Expression, CrowderCrew.com, My Car Dog, Profile Machine Products, Eddie's Sports Bar, Drive for Suicide Prevention, Car Zip, The Drill Spill, and of course the presenting sponsor here for tonight's race, NC Design Concepts, as this is the NC Design Concepts 200 here at Texas Motor Speedway. And of course, on the broadcast side of things, we have a lot of partners that have come on board here for 2018 as well. Starting as always with Walls of Beard Co. and Beard Balm. If you have a beard, ladies and gentlemen, you definitely need to take care of it, especially the gentlemen obviously out there having those beards. You need to take care of them. That is a must. All natural and organic products. Some great stuff to check out. Head on over to wallsbeardco.com to pick some of that up. SimSpeedShop.com, your one-stop shop for custom-made button boxes and e-brakes for you rallycross racers. Definitely a must for that, so make sure you head on over there and check them out today. Northwest Racing Series, your official one-to-go sponsor here for tonight's race. Make sure you check them out here on VRN as we cover them on Monday and Wednesday night. Ohio IndyCar League, if you're looking to get some IndyCar racing into your life, you can do so over there. They are no longer just taking Ohio Club members. iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, your sim race broadcast graphic source. If you're looking to get into broadcasting or just need some overlays from iRacing to stream with, head on over to ibog.co. And of course, your post-race show for tonight, that will be presented by Randy's Wraps. There is one good way to stand out from the crowd here on iRacing, and that is with a really nice paint job on that car. So head on over to Facebook and type in Randy's Wraps, and you'll be directed right to his page and get a hold of Randy Post to do a really nice paint job today. That will do it for the sponsors. Before we get into all of the racing details, though, we want to introduce our second chair here for tonight. It's been a while since we've even got to talk to this person, and it's been a while since they've been in the booth with us here, but that is the one and only Brandon Kaufman. So Brandon, welcome to the booth once again.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be back. I do have a little sore throat tonight, so hopefully everything goes well.
Well, definitely hope it is, as normally we do have Randy Post in here, or Jeff Stabnow, but because of a scheduling conflict, Jeff is unable to make the rest of the season. Randy stepped in, but he has a test that he has to do tonight, so he is unable to be here. But last minute, we get you out of chat to get you in here to get into the booth. But should be a really good race here, as we're going to pull up our race analyst here. 133 laps, roughly 200 miles. So I expect to see some good racing. We only have 12 drivers that are here, but the season is coming to an end, and tonight will determine who makes it to the round of 4. Obviously, this is all new to you here tonight, but just to get a racer's aspect of this track, because obviously you are more on the racing side, whereas I am on the broadcasting side. What are some of the challenges of Texas?
It's been a while. I haven't really done much since the updates and everything, but what I remember from Texas is it's always super tight late in the runs. I guess it really depends on the setup. I'm not sure what they're running here tonight, but I know from what I've ran on the iRacing fixed setups, it's pretty loose in the beginning of the runs, but then it can catch you and get real tight as the run goes on, as the tires wear out. So we'll see if that's consistent here tonight. I'm not exactly sure. Just watching some practice here.
Well, we will definitely be. I know we saw some people earlier. They were getting a little loose coming out of pit road for sure. And one thing I've learned about this track is it's kind of similar to Charlotte, and not so much 100%, but turn one. Turn one was always tricky for me. It could have just been my personal style of getting into it, but it seems like turn one, coming out of this tri-oval and into turn one, kind of has that same characteristic to where if you get in a little too low, it does make it pretty easy to spin the car around.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of see that too. I think it might be a little bit more banked, but one of the things you don't want to do is get down onto that white line because you want to get as close to it as possible, as you can see a lot of drivers trying to do. But if you get down and hit that white line, your car's, it's hard to tell how the car is going to react. You're either going to get real tight and head up towards the wall, or you're going to get too far down and get real loose, and that's going to bunch up everybody behind you. So you got to really watch your corner entry, especially like I said, as the run goes on, as the car gets tighter. You're going to want to stay down towards that white line, but your car is just not going to allow it.
Yeah, and this is one of those few tracks, as they can see it on the screen now, where not all tracks have it, but there are a few out there that do have it, especially in turn in between 1 and 2. There is a bridge. There's a tunnel that goes underneath that. So you will see a little bit of fluctuation in the temperatures of this track and how much grip it has in that little area just where that tunnel is. So they're going to have to be careful in there, trying to pass people here. The question is, will we see a lot of passing? Will we see some cautions here tonight? That's all the stuff that's really up in the air. We never know going into any type of race, obviously, because it is racing. You just never know what's going to happen. We do have about 3.5 minutes here before we get into the race here. So obviously you don't have this information, so I'll go over it real fast. Coming into tonight's race, this is the championship elimination cutoff. Right now, Michael Finlayson has one win. He's in. Right behind him in second place is Michael Laraya. He is 11 points to the good in second place. Adam de Blasio is in third place, 7 points in the good. And Shane Terrian is 3 points to the good in fourth place right now. So those four drivers are in the good. They are in the top four, and they will move on coming into tonight. Outside of that cutoff point, of course, in this 7 is Dylan Roberts, 3 points to the negative. Bradley Burke, 3 points to the negative. And Ryan Dyson, 4 points out of that top four spot. So there's going to be some really good battling. I would have liked to have seen a few more cars to make that even more close, but it's not going to happen here tonight. But I still expect to see some good racing.
Yeah, especially, even just like real life with the new chase format and everything, it kind of keeps everybody on their toes, and there's no time to rest. The only people that really get that, you can take the edge off is if, you win a race, you are locked into the next round, which is what, some of these drivers are looking to do here tonight. So if they can come out here with a win, then they're pretty much set.
Yeah, definitely get your set in there. And that being said, we have about 1:50 left on the timer here before we get to qualifying. They do qualifying a little bit different than most leagues, so we'll be covering that here shortly. We are going to step away for just a moment to get to our national anthem, and when we come back, we will cover all of that qualifying here in just a few moments.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and they are coming out on to the track. So we're going to go ahead and jump down here to Ryan Dyson, who is going to be one of our first drivers to come out on to the track. As we'll get to a camera where you can see him, we'll put up your driver bar here. It's again, typically on this driver bar, you'll see what manufacturer they are showing underneath their name. If they're not showing one, that is because they are driving the new Camaro here, and we just don't have the logo tied in yet. But no logo means Chevrolet, of course. But shouldn't take too long here. Obviously, you're familiar, Brandon, with how qualifying works. They'll go out here for a set amount of time, and probably about, I'd say, 8 minutes, I think it is. They will come down, have a short little break, and then the top 8 will go back out and see if they can possibly shake things up just a little bit more.
Yeah, the qualifying is pretty interesting in the league. I remember from the races that I've done with them. I like the way they do it. It's more realistic. It does take up a little more time, but you know, it's always you're on a simulator, so you might as well get do the most realistic thing.
This is true, so we'll pull up times here for your top 20. Obviously, we'll only have 12 times being put in here, and we'll see. Right now, it's Joshua Adams with the 29.553. That is your fastest time. As Dylan Roberts, one of our drivers here, he is currently sitting in second place with a 29.586, and he is one of them that is out of those top 4 as of coming into the race. But again, anything can change here at Texas.
Yeah, and you do have Joshua Adams up on top of the board. It's interesting because he's one of those drivers that's no longer in the running for the championship. It's not what these guys that are in the running for the championship want to see. All these guys coming up here that are no longer in the championship, coming up running quicker times, and may pose a problem here during the race.
Yeah, you definitely want to have all the spots you can. You don't want somebody ahead of you that could potentially, cost you some points. You want to get by everybody, and you want to qualify as high as you can. Again, qualifying typically, it's not just about starting out front. That's just part of it. The other part is you want that pit stall too. You want to be able to get in and be the last pit stall for a couple of reasons. One, obviously, you're the first pit stall. You can get in and out first. Secondly, that first or very last pit stall, the first pit stall, whatever you want to call it, has a very distinct advantage because most of the tracks that you go to, with that particular spot, you don't have to worry about speeding on pit road. You can just hammer down and go right across the line, and you usually will hit or won't hit the speed limit of pit road before you cross that line.
Yeah, that's definitely a big advantage, having that last pit stall right there at the end of pit road. It's going to help you, if you have a bad pit stop or maybe you slide through your pit box, have to back up real quick. Any mistake that you make on pit road is going to hurt you, but if you have that first pit stall, it's just going to help you out, get some time back, because like you said, you don't hit that timing and scoring right there at the end. You can usually full throttle it and get right out. But I did find it interesting because I was looking now, Ryan Dyson, it does show him running 6 laps, and they don't get to change their tires during these qualifying runs. As you can see, he's back in 7th place now, so yeah, not really looking like the qualifying run he wants, being one of those championship drivers that's trying to get into the round of 4.
And just looking here, just as you were mentioning that, Michael Laraya just took the pole so far. But again, here in a few minutes, they will be coming back down pit road. But Michael Laraya is one of our chase drivers, I guess you could say. Elimination drivers is what they call them. He is in second place. He's already 11 points to the good. So he doesn't need to have a spectacular night here, but a decent finish would, just help solidify that run. But he doesn't necessarily have to have a win to get in, just needs to have a solid night.
Yeah, all of these guys are really looking for a solid night, but since we are chasing, the round of 4, the only 4 drivers are going to leave here in the championship. 3 are going to go home. You got, Dylan Roberts, Bradley Burke, Ryan Dyson. They're all looking to, get that win tonight. That they're not really concerned about stage finishes or anything like that. They are trying to get the win because they want to get in to that round of 4. So I'm not sure. I believe they do playoff points in this league. So maybe they will try to pick up a few stage wins as well, just to get those extra cushion.
Yeah, I definitely would. Especially, from lap 60 is when we'll have that competition caution, I guess you could say, stage caution. So if you can get those bonus points, they'll help. Obviously, it's not lap 60 that you want to be in the lead. It's when you get to lap 133 and lead that final lap. That is really the lap that's important, as you just basically said. You want to win this race. That's what you come into a race to do. You don't come in here for second, third, or fourth. While, a podium finish is nice, a win's that much better, especially when it can lock you into the next round. And that's where this gets tricky because, you look right now, you see Shane Terrian is locked in currently. Coming into the night, he's in 4th place. Well, you say Dylan Roberts, Bradley Burke, or Ryan Dyson get the win, that bumps him out. So he is really in the worst spot, I think, out of all these 7 drivers.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be one of those drivers like Shane that's on that bubble spot, because you really do have to push all night to get the best finish that you can. You got to make sure you eliminate any issues that could happen that would set you back. Because like you said, if any of those 3 get the win, he's knocked out, worst case scenario. So you definitely don't want that to happen. But I was looking here, Shane, he's sitting, 9th right now in qualifying. I don't believe he's going to make it to round 2 unless he picks up some time. And you definitely don't want to start back in the pack when your whole goal is to just, win the race and get on to the round of 4. So hopefully he can pick it up for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, oops, we're having an issue with the monitor blinking there. We do apologize for that there, but we are back. Hopefully it's not too bad there. But we do apologize for that. But yeah, best case scenario, I think, for Shane Terrian here, we do apologize there, it went on. But best case for Shane Terrian here tonight, I think, is for Michael Fendelson to pick up another win. That is best case scenario for him. He already has one, so it's not going to affect a position for him. However, I did talk to Michael Fendelson a little bit before this practice session here in qualifying session. And this is not one of his favorite tracks. He said it's not where he fares the best. So this could be really interesting that he doesn't necessarily think he has a good chance of getting a win here. And he's currently actually 6th in qualifying. So he may not have too good of a shot here to get 2 wins here.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm seeing, he's kind of sitting mid-pack right now. But you have time to improve your car throughout the race. Really, you're going to get a lot of laps under your belt. So hopefully by lap 60, when they do get that stage caution, maybe he'll be able to take off on the restart and really pick up some spots just from learning the track throughout the race. I remember when I, did these races that, I didn't have much practice throughout the week, but when it came time to race, I kind of laid back for, 20, 30 laps, just felt what I can do with my car and put that to use in the second half of the race. So, it's really not hard to tell who's going to do what here because the times are so close and this track is so unpredictable. That it can just jump out and bite you. So, we're just going to see. I think we should be getting started with round 2 here soon. I'm not sure. I forget the times that they do, but everyone is in pit road.
Yeah, I believe they have about a minute 50, usually about the 4-minute mark, they go back out. So what we are going to do, we are going to step away to a quick commercial break here. Get some of our ads for our sponsors out of the way. We come back here, though, the next round will be starting, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back with the second round here of qualifying.
Singing about that something you can't understand and what you done to your man. I tap out, left my side, and I'll do just what I can. I don't really mind, no, I don't really care. Singing about that something that you might understand, 'cause I do everything I can, and I say, baby, 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 you got me on my knees. Everything about you, Lord, I'm ready to see now. Say, Karina, I can't believe he flow. I just Karina, I can't believe he flow. Karina, I can't believe he flow. I just Karina, I can't believe, yeah.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as they are coming back out onto the track. So we will do the same as we're going to hop over to our first driver and pull up our driver bar information here. It's going to be Joshua Adams, but notably here, Michael Laraya is your current pole sitter who is opting not to come back out onto the track. So he either will come out here in a minute or he is pretty secure in that time.
Yeah, he seems, that's a pretty good time. I don't see why you need to waste your tires unless there's a threat. You may see a driver here jump up, but like I said, they don't replace their tires. So, you have Ryan Dyson that ran like 6 laps there in the first round. I can't imagine he's going to be able to better his time. But hey, I've been surprised by other things, so we'll see if he can do anything with it.
Yeah, we'll definitely be watching. The last couple of weeks we've seen, here or there they'll change position, but not too terribly much for the most part. Usually they stay just about where they are. And I'm with you. I don't think anybody's going to get past Michael there. Michael Laraya, there's 2 Michaels here. So I think Laraya is pretty safe there. Obviously, if anybody is going to have a shot, the best shot would be Joshua Adams, who is on pit road. But Dylan Roberts, not too far off, only 0.019 seconds off. So Dylan Roberts may possibly have a chance to get up there and take that. But again, like you said, no new tires, old tires. So I don't see it happening, and he's actually pulling it to pit road anyway.
Yeah, I was just looking. Michael Laraya only ran 1 lap in qualifying, so he put that lap down in 1 lap. I can't imagine he'd be he could even better his time. Sorry, but yeah, this track just eats your tires like crazy. So they can try it. You might as well try it and see if you can beat the time. I can see actually Laraya's back out on track now, so I'm not sure if he's just trying to practice pit road entry or what's going on.
Yeah, and we'll see. Can he top his own time? And again, 29.540 is his time. I'm with you. I don't think he's going to top that. While we have them out there, though, let's go ahead and get rid of our top 20 point standings, and we'll go ahead and get rid of that driver information. And let's pull down our race analyst here as excuse me. Our air temp here is 80 degrees, but the track temp 107. So it is a very hot track. I will say this being my home track, that is typical Texas weather. However, that is not the weather we have right now. Our high today here was, I think, 67. So, this is not the current weather that's actually here in real life. However, that is pretty much typical weather that you would experience at Texas Motor Speedway. A very warm day and an even hotter track. So this is going to be a handful at 107 degrees, and I'm sure we will see that track temp go up probably to about 110 once they start going around this track.
Yeah, for sure. With the track starting at 107 degrees, like you said, it may go up a few degrees just from the heat going in the track. But that Texas weather is always hot, except for I guess today in Texas. But I did see also pit road speed is 50 miles per hour. That's pretty quick. I'm not sure what Charlotte's is, but this pit road almost reminds me of like a Dover pit road, which I know is a stretch because Dover pit road's like impossible to get onto. But you're coming off the corner with such speed, and it is right there to your left. And to get down to 50 miles per hour, you might see some cars speeding through pit road today. So hopefully they can eliminate all those mistakes and get down to the speed they need to, or get on pit road safely too.
Yeah, and we'll definitely know. As they got about 20 seconds here, even though the checkered flag has waved to finish up their laps. Pit stops here on iRacing, you don't get to pick your pit crew or anything like that. So an average pit stop for a Cup car, typically around 13.8 to possibly 15.2 seconds, roughly in that range. So if we see anywhere from above that 15 seconds or so, roughly above that time, we're going to assume that is a penalty, because a speeding in pit road would be a 15-second hold in pit road. So if we see anyone with about a 30-second, 31, 32-second time on pit road actually in their pit stall, we're going to assume that was a speeding on pit road or possibly unsafe pit entrance. So a lot of things could possibly go wrong. What we do know for certain, though, is going to happen is that is the Walls Beard Co. starting grid. I'll go ahead and run through that since we only have 12 drivers here for tonight's race. Row 1 is going to be the 94 of Adam de Blasio and the 44 of Michael Laraya, as de Blasio did get by Michael Laraya at the very last minute. Row 2 is going to be the 88 of Joshua Adams and the 31 of Dylan Roberts. Row 3 is going to be the 51 of Bradley Burke and the 24 of Grant Davis. Row 4 is going to be the 14 of Michael Fenlison and the 28 of Ryan Dyson. Row 5 is going to be the 38 of Shane Terrian and the 11 of Jamie Dyson. And row 6, rounding out the field here tonight, is going to be the 10 of Robert Kenny and the 26 of Chuck Sweeting. That will do it here for your Walls Beard Co. starting grid. 12 drivers starting, and of course we are going to narrow this field down to 4. Those will be your elimination round of 4. Obviously, we'll have more drivers than that show up next week, but those are going to be the 4 that we are looking for to possibly win this championship.
Yeah, and that was a great time by Adam de Blasio. He actually ran that on the 12th lap of his qualifying. So, if they're going to prove me wrong, they're going to do it, and he did it. So he's going to be starting the race here tonight as they're getting ready to go green.
They are indeed. There it is. Green flag is out here at Texas Motor Speedway. This is the NC Design Concepts 200. And we're not under the lights tonight. We have the sun shining down on this track, as we'll see how this one plays out. We will have a caution, as we'll go ahead and pull that up real quick. We will have a stage caution at the end of lap 60. And they will regroup and take some tires and fuel, I'm sure. We'll see. Will we have enough cautions in between there, or will we go green flag racing this entire race? With 12 drivers, 12 really good drivers at that, averaging over 5,000 iRating here in iRacing, I have a feeling we're probably going to go caution-free here, other than that stage caution.
Yeah, these guys working on lap 2 right now. They, I didn't see anybody even get out of shape there on that first lap. That was pretty impressive. Everybody seems to be single-filed out. We do have, looks to be the 88 of Joshua Adams to the outside of the Dylan Roberts, but they're they're going to single file out in the 51. Bradley Burke going to sneak to the inside. So a little bit of passing here in the beginning of the race. We'll see if that holds out through the rest of the stage.
Yeah, definitely a little bit here. So we're going to see the 88. A lot of work in front of him if he wants to get that. That is Grant Davis into victory lane. He's running that Napa paint job here for. Now I can't even think of his name. Elliott. There we go. Chase Elliott, who locked himself into the chase this past week. So we'll see. Can he get that Napa machine into the elimination round of 4?
Yeah, everybody still looks pretty good. You know, I was pretty just interesting fact. Top 5 right now. I think maybe even top 6 or top 7. Yeah, I think 6 out of the top 7 drivers are in this new Chevy ZL1. It's the first race I've seen actually with the ZL1 here on iRacing. So interesting to see that it's kind of contradictory compared to what real life is. Everyone says they're at an aero disadvantage, but here tonight looks like they're here to prove a point.
They are indeed, as you're right. Going through your top 5 drivers here, we have the ZL1 in first, second. Third is a Ford. Fourth and fifth are both ZL1s. So, excuse me. There are a lot here, and then keep going. You have even more. So yeah, I definitely think it's got a even aero package on here compared to the what they say in real life. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. And what we're else keeping an eye on here is Michael Lariah, who is all over the back bumper right now of Adam de Blasio. Those two are going to be very quick. Their last laps were a 30.109 and a 30.107 was their last lap. 0.002 off of each other, showing just how close these two are together.
Yeah, Lariah is definitely using all the racetrack. You know, gets right up on that back bumper of that 94 machine. Tends to, you know, sneak up a little bit higher on the corner exit to try to get that run off, and he does pull on him on the down the front straightaway and the back straightaway. So, you know, you were saying earlier, it kind of reminds you of Charlotte. Well, I think there is a little bit of a draft effect here at these tracks because they're not tiny tracks. You know, it's a 1.5 mile track, so the straightaways, you know, you can definitely get a little bit of aero advantage if you're the second car. You know, and there's not much that clean air does for you if you're in the lead, it seems.
Yeah, it doesn't do too terribly much for you, as we're riding on the board with Michael Lariah. And you can see right here, we're going to take one complete lap with the 44 as he is trying to run down the 94 of Adam de Blasio. And you see both of them right there on that white line, and then they drift up just a little bit and come back down to it again, as it looks like Michael Lariah a little bit closer to the outside wall on the backstretch here coming into 3 and 4. Both of them right there, but now Michael Lariah a little bit lower than de Blasio is.
Yeah, once again, their times are super close. Only, I think, 0.02 of a second off each other that lap there. So with Lariah being faster, so you know the laps, even though they're running a little bit different lines, they're still kind of running pretty consistent. There's a little bit of a race going on back here for what looks to be 4th, I believe, between the 51 and the 88 machine. They're running side by side off of turn number 4.
Yeah, Bradley Burke and Joshua Adams, and there for a minute I thought Grant Davis was going to get right in the middle of them, but he has thought a little bit better about that. He's not going to try to thread that needle and go in the middle. However, he does slide up a little bit, and that may cost him a spot. Oh, as we got somebody getting out of shape there. That was the 38 of Shane Terrian. He got way out of shape, but somehow saved that.
Yeah, and like we're saying, you know, he's the bubble driver trying to make it into the round of 4, and he had to let off there, and, you know, you don't want to get into those situations this early in the race where, you know, you don't want to be taken out and, you know, have to pit for repairs and go multiple laps down because, like, you know, if you're looking out his front windshield, you've got 3 drivers all racing for that 5th position there. So he's going to pull back up on him. We're going to see if he's going to try to make some moves.
Yeah, we'll do is we did go on board with him. He almost got into the back bumper of the 51 of Bradley Burke, as he had to check up just a little bit not to get into the back of him. Really, you know, the lead has a battle going on too, so we're keeping an eye on that. As I say that, just as I said that, Michael Araya did get by Adam de Blasio, so we'll see. He has not officially led a lap yet, but he did get by. Will he be able to hold on to this lead before they get to the line? But literally just past him, as I said, they were battling.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice pass there. It is hard to pass at this track, but if you can get the right line and the right run off, you can definitely get that spot, and he does lead that lap, so that's the first lap for him. He's going to lead tonight. They've opened a 1.5 second gap between third place Dylan Roberts, so it's smooth sailing from here on out. We do have a few drivers back here still racing for position. Looks like the 88 did get back up to fourth place after falling back there a little bit, and the 24 is following him right up through.
He is indeed, as he is again, like you said, following him along. That's not a bad strategy, especially early in the race. Don't push it. If somebody makes a hole, follow them behind that hole. It is definitely a valid strategy to do. You let them do the dirty work, and you just kind of fill it in. Some drivers that have kind of fallen off here a little bit. Chuck Sweeting in the 26 and Robert Kenny in the 10. Those two have fallen off a little bit from this main group. Right in front of them is Jamie Dyson in the 11. And most notably here, I want to talk about who we haven't yet. That is the 14 of Michael Finlayson. Again, he said this is not one of his favorite tracks. He didn't necessarily care for it. Right now, he is in 9th. He started 7th, so he has fallen back several spots since the start of this race.
Yeah, it looks to me like he's just, trying to hold his position after losing 2 spots. We see the 38 up on the high line. I'm not sure if that's going to come in as the race goes on. I've seen a few people try to sneak up there and see if they've been able to grab some extra speed, as we see the 51 to the inside of the 24. But yeah, Michael Finlayson being, he already does, he's the leader in the points right now. So I'm not sure. You said he did have a win or he does not have a win. I think you said he did. So he is that correct?
Yes, he does have a win.
Okay, so he is locked into the next round. So, maybe he's just playing it safe. I mean, we're only on lap 17. Lap 60 or around there is going to be that stage caution. So he has time to work his way up, but I think he's just thinking big picture.
Yeah, definitely better to think of the big picture than a single win. Obviously, he'd like to have the win, but that's one of those things, that makes a good racer. If you definitely don't think you have a winning car, why push it? You just try to keep the car clean. And I assure you that if we have any cautions at all, we'll probably see 1 or 2 of these people with damage on their car, and they could potentially be slower, and he could get by those. So, play it safe. Don't push anything too crazy. Just go out there and battle, as we are about to be on lap 20. And that, again, stage 1 caution will come at the end of lap 60. So we'll have currently 40 laps to the end of that stage caution. So far, caution-free here at Texas Motor Speedway, and we've only had 1 lead, and that was just 6 laps ago when Michael Araya took the lead from Adam de Blasio.
Yeah, I have a feeling Adam de Blasio hasn't fallen back much since that pass made by Araya, but he's not in the championship running, or he's not an elimination driver as they call it, but he's right there, and he's going to make Araya earn this win here tonight. And we can't forget about Dylan Roberts sitting 3rd. He might have some speed at the end here. So it's hard to tell with these cars, especially because they can change so much throughout a race. What can happen? Yeah,
they can definitely change, and just like that, they change instantly. And you also have to talk about, we did talk about it a little bit anyway, we'll go back to it, is pit road. Most likely, I'm not sure what their pit window is here, but most likely they will have to pit under green flag conditions at least once, possibly twice. So, if it's under caution and you miss your pit a little bit, it's not going to hurt you too bad. However, if it's green flag conditions, when you're talking a 15 to 30 second pit stop, if you get a penalty or anything like that, even 20 seconds on pit road, when they're running 30-second laps, by the time you get back up to speed, they're probably going to put you a lap down. So if we have green flag pit stops, which I think we will, you're going to have to be very precise in your pit stall and make sure that you don't make any mistakes.
Yeah, well, like you said, if you come in and do speed on pit road, that will be a 15-second penalty, and with them running 30-second lap times, that's almost impossible to recover from if you were, if there's no cautions for the rest of the evening. But like you said, I wasn't sure about the fuel mileage. I know you said at the end of lap 60 they're going to have a competition caution, stage caution, and they're going to have about 71, 72 laps to go after that. I'm not exactly sure what their fuel mileage looks like, but I have a feeling they're probably going to have to pit twice.
I'm thinking they are too. I'm thinking if we get to the end of the stage caution-free, we're going to see everyone come down, take 4 tires of fuel, and then we will have to see them come down once again to top off on fuel. Most likely, if we have about 70 or so laps to go, I would expect them to come in probably halfway through that run, maybe on lap 35 of that stint, maybe 40. Come in, get some fuel, and I'm pretty sure they're going to get tires as well. Again, we'll see. Will they take 2 or 4 will be the question. But I'm with you. I think it's going to be a 2 pit stop race. We did not get a chance to get that from any of the drivers as to how many it would be, but I do believe 2 pit stops is going to be the way to go. I personally think, from being that I've been on this track enough, I think 4 tires is going to be the call here for most everybody.
Yeah, you may have 1 or 2 drivers try to gamble towards the end. Maybe if we do have a late race caution, maybe gambling with 2 right sides. But with 60 laps in the first stage, I don't see any reason, with the 12 drivers, I don't see any reason why not to just get 4, make any adjustments you need, and, restart that way. But track position is obviously key here. We haven't seen much passing since, after the first 5 laps. And everyone's kind of running consistent lap times. You have the top 3 running very consistent lap times, and 4th and 5th have only about a 10th off of them. So I think if they do gamble and do get 2 tires, that might hurt them more than help them. I think the time difference is just going to be too much to make up.
Yeah, I am definitely with you, especially when you consider the fact while they are running consistent times, they are also running slower times. We are 27 laps in to this stint here of 60, which will be the stage 1 caution, and now 28 laps in, 29.720. That's Adam de Blasio's fastest time. Right now, on his last lap he just started, he is running a 31.877. So right now, about 3 seconds off his fastest time. About 2 seconds off. My math is horrible, but 2 seconds off, and that time is growing every single lap. So if we have more than, I'd say, 20 laps to go, I'm taking 4 tires, no question. Otherwise, you are going to get eaten alive out there.
Yeah, for sure. You're not going to be able to survive if you're a second off the pace right off the bat. But, yeah, so the 94 back out front, I must have missed it. I feel like every time there's a pass for the lead, I miss it. So I apologize for that. But the 94 machine back out front, I'm not sure. Lari might just be trying to save some tires, or if he's just used his car up so far. But we're only about halfway through the first stage of this race. So I'm not sure if, we have a few drivers also, like Dylan Roberts, who's also running pretty consistent times. He actually is running, a few thousdths off of the leaders there, so he's still in contention to maybe pull up to these guys if they keep slowing up or trying to save some fuel. Trying to look back here as well. I think we do have pit stops going on, Charles. A few pit stops here in the back.
We do indeed, as the Ryan Dyson in the 28 on pit road. And as he is going to be completing that, it looks like he is going to pull off pit road 14.4 seconds. Shane Terrian rolling off with a 14.0 stop, as well as Jamie Dyson with a 14.7 second stop. It looks like everyone about 37 seconds total on pit road. So I would have to say that everyone had a clean stop there.
Yeah, I find it interesting. what this tells me is that they might not even be able to make it to lap 60. You see in real life pit road closes with 3 laps to go in the stage, and I know that's the way they do it in this series as well, but pitting halfway through the stage, I don't really see the benefit in that other than, hey, I need fuel, I'm not going to be able to make it to the end. So, we might be talking about a 3 pit stop race here.
This could get interesting because, one, we do know unless they absolutely cannot make it and they have to come down pit road, everyone else will come down, then they're okay. But right now, that put these guys a lap down. And we talked about, if they got a penalty, they'd go a lap down. They didn't even get a penalty, and they went a lap down. So if you get a penalty, you definitely are. But again, no penalty. They went a lap down. So these guys have to come in because if you don't have to pit, then they're really in a world of trouble right now because nobody else is going to come down. They're going to stay a lap down, and then when the caution comes out for that stage, yes, they'll have more fuel, but those tires are still going to be worn because we still have about 26 laps before that stage caution does come out.
Yeah, that's why it was just concerning to see them coming down pit road. I mean, they're passing cars left and right. I mean, it almost looks like they're sitting still, some of these guys that stayed out so far, but they're going to make up time on them. I'm not sure if they'll be able to catch the leaders to unlap themselves. I always said I'd be a horrible crew chief because when I'm in the car, I don't think about that kind of things. I just pit when I need fuel and this and that. But there's some people that can think up some crazy strategies and, they'll end up out on top. So they might have something up their sleeve, if they can catch these leaders. As we see the 38 getting around the 14 as he gets a little out of shape there. And the 14 is sitting 5th right now. So they're not too far behind the leaders right now.
No, they are not. There is your 5th place car, and we'll go to Shane Terrian, who is just right there. He just is ahead of him, and he is running him down. So, again, that is Shane Terrian in 10th place right now. Let's pull something up. We have not got to do this too much here. Let's pull up our brand new graphic, and you see the 38 on your screen. This is kind of our through the field thing. Our leader is of course Adam de Blasio, and we'll see right there, you can see both of them here on the map as Adam de Blasio is currently actually behind Shane Terrian here, and he very well possibly could put him another lap down soon.
Yeah, you can see Shane Terrian, he's diving to the inside, just getting past the leaders, so that's going to put him back on the lead lap. That might be what he was, I'm assuming that's what he was looking to do, and he made quick time of it. Ryan Dyson, though, on the other hand, is still, he's working his way through the field, but he still has to pass about 5 or 6 cars, and you also have Jamie Dyson, who's following them through. So I have a feeling all 3 of those guys are going to get back on the lead lap, and we only are 37 laps through this stage, so depending on how fast they're going to go, they may even be catching up and passing cars in the field. They might end up 9th or 10th at the end of this stage, actually catching other cars back around again. So we'll see if they can do that. That'd be pretty impressive.
It could indeed. Again, they're the 28 just crossing the line, going to the 94 of Adam de Blasio, who is coming out of turn 2 onto the backstretch. Back to, I think the 28 of Ryan Dyson's probably going to catch your race leader here very shortly as they can see each other on the track. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that here. So I definitely think they'll get their laps back. If they can get it back before the stage caution comes out, that would be ideal here. Of course, I'm still, they strategize a lot more than we do here. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the purpose of it yet, mainly because nobody else has come down pit road. So I'm wondering here if maybe on lap 50-ish or something, everyone else is going to come down.
Yeah, and it may have just been one of those deals where they're just trying to see how fast they do catch up, kind of testing the waters to see if they do something towards the end of the race. I know I've seen people on iRacing do that before, and even in real life, just seeing how good their car is. Obviously, they've been able to pit and unlap themselves in a matter of 10, 15 laps. So, nothing wrong with that strategy. You see Dyson actually dicing through the leaders, so he's going to get himself back on the lead lap. And Michael Lariah is going to try to get back to that 94 car. There has not been more than half a second gap between these guys since the race started. So I think this might be interesting to see how this goes the rest of the night.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching these front two. You can't count Dylan Roberts out. And for someone who also says that this isn't one of their best tracks, that is Michael Finlayson, currently sitting in 4th place. So while these guys have got their laps back here, Jamie Dyson and Joshua Adams are still laps down, but Shane Terrian and Ryan Dyson got their laps back. They still have to get around this track one more time if they want to get a lead, or get to the front anyway to try to get that lead. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Once they get back around, those tires are going to be pretty worn out. Keep in mind, though, they do have 12 laps on their tires compared to 43 for the rest of these guys. So they're currently running, we'll go to Shane Terrian, 31 O's to 32 3s for your leader. So they do have significant time on them. So we may see these guys may have just come down, and they're not going to come down during that caution.
Yeah, well, I'm looking here. Looks like Shane Terrian, he was able to unlap himself and already cut 8 seconds off of the leader. So with only 30-second lap times, and we still have 15 laps to go, he might be able to get himself up into the top 5 even, or maybe even catch the leaders. I don't know. I'm so bad when it comes to time, but I'm waiting to see if these guys do duck down pit road a little early. It wouldn't be a bad strategy to pit before the caution ends or before the caution comes out. That way you can maintain some track position. But I don't know if I would stay out. Like you said, if you have more than 20 laps to go in a race, you're definitely going to want to get tires and gas. But I'm still trying to see what the purpose of the strategy is here.
Yeah, it's definitely one I don't know. But then again, I am not the big strategy guy here. They are, so we'll see what that strategy is. I do want to go ahead and pull this up so everyone knows. Right now, as you're watching Shane Terry, and we have had 0 cautions. We will have at least one coming up here in just a little bit. We currently have 88 laps to go as they're running about 32 seconds laps. So we're roughly running 2 laps a minute. So you got 88 laps, so that's roughly 44 minutes of race time left before this thing comes to an end. So when you put it like that, that's less than an hour for these guys to get up there and go. They've got to make something happen. But right now, the only 2 that I think possibly have a really good shot at the win here is going to be Adam DeBlasio or Michael Lariah. Dylan Roberts right there, though. Don't count him out. He is right there on the same backstretch as him. So he still has a shot, too. I think it's probably about a 33% chance between the 3 of them.
Yeah, and I just noticed we do have Joshua Adams, who did come down pit road. He's now sits 2 laps down, so he's going to be fighting to get back 1 lap down before the end of the stage, so maybe he can get the lucky dog and still pit with these leaders. So he's got some work to do. We have a few guys up here in the top 5 we haven't really talked about much tonight. Chuck Sweeting, I think he started last tonight, so he is taking his machine up to the front right now.
He has indeed started dead last in 12th place, worked his way up to 5th place, so what a run for Chuck Sweeting. Is, again, just an outstanding job for him to go from the back. And it's not that he qualified bad or anything like that. He didn't qualify at all. I don't believe, I don't remember what time he put in for qualifying, but he did.
It shows like the 3 lines under him, so I don't think he put a qualifying time in, so that's still pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting as to. I don't see anything, so I'm going to assume he did not put in a time, so definitely a good job for him if he didn't to come to 5th place. We'll see. Finlayson, again, talking about how this wasn't necessarily his favorite track, almost at a podium finish, sitting in 4th place right now. Bradley Burke in the 51. We talked about him earlier with having a really good battle going on. That one's kind of fizzled out, but he's got the 24 Grant Davis all over his back bumper, so we may have a little bit of a battle going on there for 6th position here.
Yeah, and I was just comparing the top 3 times. Dylan Roberts actually running like 2/10 quicker than these leaders here. You can just see from looking at, just watching how much he's closed in already. He's running like that middle lane, which we haven't really seen many people do tonight, but his last lap was a 32.37, and Adam de Blasio, the leader, was running a 32.55. So, he's running a little bit quicker. Maybe he was laying back just saving some tires to pull up an upset here before the stage ends.
He very well could have been. Again, they will get stage points based on how they finished. I believe the top 10 get points for the stage, which is, again, there's only 12 drivers here tonight. It's a little bit lower car count than they're used to. Usually there's at least 15, 20 or more drivers. But top 10 get stage points. So really, you don't have a whole terribly lot to lose here. And now you think about it, that could have been part of the strategy here for Ryan Dyson and Shane Terrian, as they are both right now in the round of 7. They're both out 3 points and 4 points. You're definitely right now you're going to get some at least bonus points. So that could have had some bearing on that strategy.
Yeah, for sure. I think Shane Terrian, he's gone up and making some passes now. As you see him on the inside of the 51, that's going to be a position on the track. So he's working his way back up through. These guys have yet to pit. So he's right on the back end of the 24 now. So he's going to be cutting his way through the field. As we can see Dylan Roberts pulling up to the back of the 44 machine. I think here in a few laps we're going to see some position changes up front.
Yeah, I would definitely think we would, and we'll see. I'm keeping a very close eye on the stats here. If they cannot make it to to lap 60, which at this point they're on 54, I would be willing to bet they could. But if they can't, we would see those guys that pitted move up and get even more points than they would here for the stage. And you talk about someone like Shane Terrian and Ryan Dyson, who could use every point they can get their hands on. That would be very beneficial, if they could get, 8-10 points, because these guys had to come in and pit, and they wouldn't have enough time to pass them by. But here comes the 44 now of Michael Araya. He's technically the leader at the moment. Can he get it at the line is the question, and I have a feeling it is going to be... Indeed, it is going to be the 44 of Michael Araya. That is your new race leader here. So I think he was holding back just a little bit, trying to conserve a little.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Like you see, I think the 31 was doing the same thing, and he's running them down too. Shane Terrian moves into the 6th spot. So, not a bad strategy call. Starting 9th, moving up to 6th. Right here at the stage end, going to get some stage points. Going to help him in the championship. But yeah, it's amazing. They're almost within the 10-second bracket. They're only 10 seconds behind. So that's crazy to think that they unlapped themselves and then went 20 seconds, faster. So, if you're going 2 seconds a lap quicker, obviously that strategy worked out on their favor, because these leaders, if they can't make it to stage end, which is coming up soon, they're going to fall back and, maybe you might see some of them not even be getting stage points.
Oh, and we got Fendelson going around. I believe that is Michael Fendelson. What a save for the 14. He was way out of shape, completely sideways going down the backstretch and into turn 4. I don't think I've seen that good of a save in a long time.
Yeah, I'll go back and take a look at that here at the break, but I think these cars definitely aren't getting tight. If you're going to see any kind of damage here, it's going to be right front damage, because that wall, oh, there he goes again, just getting sideways, scaring the crap out of me, but he saves it once again. Yeah, with this right front damage, you're going to see if you push your car at all, you'll get loose up into that outside wall, and that's where a lot of damage comes from, because you can see right there that safer barrier where Finlayson just passed comes right out, and he's going to get into it there a little bit. Oh, make some contact.
Chuck Sweeting, and that will bring out the caution 1 lap before the stage, as we were riding with him. So we won't go back and look at that. It was pretty self-explanatory. The 14 just having some issues keeping it going straight right now. And does clip the 26 of Chuck Sweeting just a little bit. But I think Chuck Sweeting will survive it.
Yeah, Finlayson said he's not a fan of this track. Well, you know, I don't think he's going to change his mind after tonight with that happening there. There's that right front damage I was talking about. It's just going to change the whole way his car reacts, you know, for the rest of the night. And we're not even halfway through yet. So we're going to get these guys lined up behind the pace car. I think Josh Adams should get the lucky dog, that 88 machine, be able to pit this time as well. So Bradley Burke did have some connection issues, so he is out, it looks like, the rest of the night. So 11 drivers going to restart this race here after this caution break.
Is indeed, and Michael Araya going to be getting the stage win, as we are going to complete lap 60 this time under caution. So usually the caution comes out first, but regardless, that will do it. Michael Araya going to be your stage 1 winner here in that 41 machine, bringing it down pit road. So we'll let you know what happens on pit road. We are going to step away here for a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with some more racing here at Texas Motor Speedway.
Thermaltake. Say command.
What is the weather like in LA?
The weather is clear in LA.
What is the weather like in New York?
The weather is rain in New York.
Use flow mode.
Flow.
Say hello, TT.
Hello, TT.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Lights are off on the pace car. That only means one thing: we are going racing this next time by. And you know, we just got back from a caution break, but why not? It seems like a great time here. We to go crank it up here. We again haven't had them too close together here since they got a pretty spread out there. I would imagine they're going to have to pit before this stage is over, and that will do it, of course, for Stage 1. Stage 2 is about to start. 71 laps. It's going to be 70 laps to go here to start the next stage. Of course, the final stage So I think they're going to have to pit. They may not. They could surprise us. I don't know what their fuel window is. But regardless of that, we are going crank it up here on VRN for a few laps. So make sure you're on the edge of your seat because we're going radio silent. Pace cars diving off. Let's crank it up. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It's a little crank it up here on the VRN. Hope you enjoyed it. We had a little stutter there on the internet, but for the most part, it went clean, I think. And look how close these leaders are now. I think that first stage there, people were really sitting back and seeing what they had. As your first 5 cars are right there together, especially your front 3, as Michael Araya definitely has a fast car here. I think he was kind of toying and holding back there with that 94 just a little bit on stage 1.
Yeah, and those drivers that pit early in that stage, we got Shane Terrian sitting P3 right now, running down those leaders, and Ryan Dyson was sitting P4, but now he did get passed up by the 24 machine of Davis, and he's now sitting P5. So, paid off a little bit for him. They were able to pit with the leaders, get those 4 fresh tires, and now Shane Terrian's looking to run them down here, give him a little bit of competition here at the closing side of this race.
Yeah, definitely. It was a very good strategy. We'll see how it plays out in the end. I think that was just that, a strategy to maybe see what you could do later on. And they definitely could catch the leaders. So we may see them pit a little bit earlier than everyone else coming in to pit stops, if they even need to pit here. They may not need to pit at all. 70 laps, I'm thinking they're going to have to. But it's questionable if they're going to need to pit or not. I'm just not sure. We didn't get the chance to get a fuel window. So it's something we're going to have to keep an eye on, as well as Shane Terrian, who is, again, looks like he has been brought to life once again. He is just all over that back bumper of the 94 of Adam de Blasio.
Yeah, you could throw those top 3 cars under a blanket, and I was looking here, Michael Finlayson takes his machine back down the pit road. He's going to go ahead and take a lap down, along with Chuck Sweeting is also a lap down. So 2 drivers are going to be a lap down here, but we do have 10 drivers still on the lead lap. 9 drivers still on the lead lap, because we did lose Bradley Burke there. But yeah, these drivers are definitely so different after the stage, and you see it in real life too. Everyone kind of takes it easy the first stage, knowing that there is a stage coming up, or a second stage coming up, and now they got nothing to lose at this point. They've seen how the first stage was. Drivers are seconds apart, not being able to pass, so you got to get all the track position you can now.
Yeah, you definitely want to get it now before the tires just go to complete junk. Again, once these tires get really bad, there's not a whole lot of speed in them. We've seen it already with Michael Finlayson. Once they get bad, you're going to hurt a little bit on not only your speed, but the handling as well. So you definitely you don't want to have you don't want to have that chance to try to make a pass when you don't have the tires to do it. You want to be able to get those passes out of the way now. And looks like that's what everybody's doing here. Because I would say we're 12 laps into this stint. I would probably say around 18 to 20, any chance of passing someone without them making a mistake is probably gone.
Yeah, for sure. The tires, they're already running almost half a second slower than what they started the race on. I'm looking here. Dylan Roberts sits back in 7th. He was one of those guys we were talking about earlier. I'm not sure if something happened in pit road. I do see maybe a little bit of right front damage there, but nothing too serious. So maybe he's just holding back, saving some tires, saving some equipment there for the end. As we see the 28 machine, that's Ryan Dyson trying to get past the 88 machine of Joshua Adams. Dyson is a elimination driver. He's back here fighting with some non-elimination drivers. So, it can be frustrating. You just have to keep your wits about you and just try to pick off as you can.
Yeah, you definitely have to. And this is a very interesting battle here between the 88 and the 28 of Joshua Adams and Ryan Dyson to find out which lane is going to be the faster one. Earlier we heard the bottom would be faster from a driver, but it looks like it is going to be the top here that is the fastest in that 28 of Ryan Dyson as he makes the pass. But then I stand corrected. Here comes the 88 of Joshua Adams back with a little bit of momentum on the bottom. So I'm not too sure. We may have two distinct grooves here. The higher side and right there on that line is, of course, Joshua Adams will probably get him at the line. It's going to be a drag race, but actually I think Ryan Dyson had it.
Yeah, this can be really frustrating and from a driver's perspective. He's kind of trapped on the high side, which is Dyson up there on the high side. And you see Roberts hopping up to the high side too. So it's interesting, Dyson does clear him. So, but there's so many different lines as the race goes on, and I kind of knew as it rubbered up a little bit, you might see that high line come in. We didn't see it hold the momentum down the back straightaway there because the 88 did get a good run to the inside, but Dyson seems to be pulling away now. So maybe that middle groove high lane will be something to come in at the end of the race. We might even see a Larson line coming in.
Yeah, we very well could. And speaking of lines, we're going to check up here to our race leader.
Oh, we got a wreck in the back. The two we were just talking about, 28 and the 88 get together.
The 28 going backwards on the track. No caution coming out so far as he is off the racing surface. He's about to get it on the racing surface. Still no caution. And that may seal the fate here. There is the caution coming out. Just note, too, Chuck Sweeting now out of the race here just 2 laps ago. And Michael Fendelson, too. I'm not sure what happened to them. We did not get a caution. They both came down pit road and are out of the race, but no caution for them. Ryan Dyson, though, did bring out the caution here with the 88. So let's go back and take a look. We got a glimpse of it there. We're going to have to go back a little bit further to see exactly what happened as those two were racing side by side very hard. And the 88 of Joshua Adams, I know it was hard into the door of the 28 of Ryan Dyson, but I'm not sure if that's what started it or if the 28 got loose possibly.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell from that angle. It almost seems like the 88 wanted to sneak up behind the 28, and the 28 may have gotten a little loose, which scrubbed some speed off, but we've seen it a few times this season from Kyle Busch in real life, just trying to sneak up behind some cars and sending them around just because they didn't have the speed that they thought they were going to be able to clear them. But nonetheless, man, that's a hard break for Ryan Dyson trying to get into the next round of the championship, and now he's going to be sitting maybe on the bubble. I'm not exactly sure how the points go out right now.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to try to get there. As we're watching from the spotter cam, and let's go up to our blimp cam. We're going to be going back and forth. It looks like our blimp cam is going to be the best view we have to possibly get a good shot at this, to try to figure out. Oh, and I think the 88 may have just came up right into the back panel here. As we're going to try to get another shot at that here. Go back here just a little bit more. Let's go on board here, if we can, to the roll bar of the 88. And we went to the wrong driver there. Let's go to the 88 and go back again here real quick. Again, it's hard to dissect this here, but we're running on board with the 88 of Joshua Adams to try to figure out exactly what happened here. And I'm not sure. He was fighting that wheel just a little bit, but you can't really say what happened for sure. What we do know happened, though, is the 88 and the 28 make contact there, and that brings out our second caution of the night.
Yeah, that's a tough break for those two drivers. That 88 seemed really strong there earlier in the race, and it seemed like the 28 was just coming to life there. But nonetheless, they're going to have to, take care of that damage in pit road, probably end up going a few laps down. I don't see Dyson being able to be a contender here for the race win tonight with that front-end damage. He did get a lot of front-end damage. But they're going to line him back up behind the pace car. Lariah going to come out of pit road first. Same top three that we've seen here for a while. De Blasio, Terrian going to line up third. Riley Davis in that 24 machine, he's been strong all night up there in the top five, fighting with Dylan Roberts there on that last little green flag run we had there. But we might see a few of these guys take advantage. They know what their cars can do now, from that last restart. So a lot of Chevys up here, but don't be afraid. They're definitely going to try to beat each other.
Yeah, they may be Team Chevy, but they're Team Win right now. That is what they're here. Michael Araya definitely would love to see the win. We can't 100% say, but based on how they're running right now, I have a feeling that there's no feeling Michael Fendelson will be in because he has a win. Michael Araya leading this race right now. He was already 11 points to the good, so he's probably pretty secure. Adam de Blasio sitting in third in points, 7 points to the good, sitting in second place on the track. He's probably pretty secure. And Shane Terrian sitting in third place on the track, 3 points to the good. So those drivers, your top three in this race, are probably going to make it with Michael Fendelson. So it goes to show that consistency pays off, that three of our top four that will probably make it after this race to the round of four are in the top three in points right now, are in the top three in the race.
Yeah, it's pretty coincidental how this kind of turned out. With Finlayson does have that win, so he will be moving on to the round of four. But you got people like Dyson, Bradley Burke. They both had pretty bad nights. Bradley Burke, he disconnected 26 laps ago, and Ryan Dyson with that contact there. So, the hopes of them making it into the round of four are pretty much over at this point, as long as it turns out the way it. I don't think Dyson come back out on the track. He's still in pit road, so he's not going to be able to make up any positions tonight unless there's a huge crash that takes a lot of people out. But they've been racing pretty clean, so I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't either, as he is going to be there probably for quite some time. Green flag is back out, though, here at Texas Motor Speedway. We currently have 7 drivers on the track. And we'll see, with that few of drivers, one thing that we'll do, I think, here, these guys are going to be race clean. They're going to be smooth. But, one thing that it could produce is some more aggressive racing. Especially if you're not one of the elimination drivers, you don't have a chance, you're here for the win. What's the worst you can do? 6th place? So it very well could cause a little bit more aggressive because you can't fall back too many spots.
Yeah, a lot of these playoff drivers actually made, they're up there racing. I think we have Riley Davis. He's not a playoff driver, but he's up there running with these guys. He has nothing to lose, like you said. He's there to win the race and prove that he has what it takes to win here with this league. So, he might not even take into consideration, what color your spoiler is, because or their splitter. But everyone's just trying to get the win out here. Looking up front, Lariah still has the lead. De Blasio in 2nd place, but Shane Terrian not leaving the picture. You could still throw a blanket over those top 3.
Yeah, you definitely could very easily. So he's in a battle there, and it looks like actually the we're looking here. The 24 of Grant Davis is actually still running the red spoiler and splitter, just like the round of 7 are. He just got eliminated in the last round, so he actually still has it on there, even though he is not in the round.
Yeah, it looks like Riley. Yeah, he's the first. He's sitting position 8th in the points right now, which means he is the first driver not in the playoff points. But he may have just taken off that, or still running that color. I'm not sure if that scheme might actually have a red splitter, so I'm not 100% sure. But nonetheless, he's not in the running for the championship.
Yeah, so definitely don't be confused out there. He is not. We're going back up to the front here. Shane Terrian has kind of fallen off just a little bit. But these front two, man, they are just battling right now. Michael Araya and Adam de Blasio, bumper to bumper, currently 0.133 seconds separating those two. As now it's going to be 0.166, but I wouldn't count either one of these out here, as we just got a glimpse. Ryan Dyson back in that 28. Looks like his car's been through a minefield, but he is a trooper. It is back out there on the track. 8 laps down, but he is going to bring it back out and see if he can't gain some more positions.
Yeah, that last lap there, we had the two front runners here running 30.1 in that 10th range, and we go back. Shane Terrian last ran. Oh, he's up in the 0.2s now, but Riley Davis was making a move to the inside. He's going to pass up the 31 machine of Dylan Roberts, who's going to lose 2 spots here, sending him back to 6th place. So Jamie Dyson going to sneak to the inside as well, following that 24 machine through.
He is indeed. We'll see if he can get up there again. Dylan Roberts coming into this race right now, as we're looking at that. He is sitting in 5th place in the race and in the point standings. He's 3 points out of being in the top 4. He needs to get by Shane Terrian, who is 3 points to the good. However, there are 2 spots separating them on the track. Technically, 1 spot, and then Shane Terrian. So I have a feeling, and you don't want to wish this. I hope everyone finishes this race, as we have a pass potentially for the lead here, so we're going to go to that. But in order for Dylan Roberts to get into the round of 4, he's going to need Shane Terrian to possibly get in a wreck or be involved in something to push him all the way back to a 9th, 10th place. Otherwise, I think his night is done. Obviously, Bradley Burke's out of the race. His hopes of moving on to the round 4 are done here tonight. And Ryan Dyson, currently 10 laps down, fairly certain his night is done. So really, the only spot up for grabs is going to be between Shane Terrian and Dylan Roberts.
Yeah, it's almost like the drivers that fell out of this race are the ones who really needed the most to not fall out of this race. You know, we have Bradley Burke, like you said, Dyson. They're the last 2. They're sitting 6th and 7th on the elimination board here for the top 7 drivers. So, like you said, Dylan Roberts sitting 5th, Shane Terrian sitting 4th in that list as well. Something's going to have to happen to Shane for Dylan to really be able to capitalize and lock himself into the round of 4. I don't really see it happening. You know, you got Shane kind of all by himself right now, and he knows that too. I'm sure he has the points in his head or figuring it all out, but he knows that he needs to finish this race with a clean car, and if he finishes where he's at, then he's locked in.
Yeah, definitely would be locked in. We'll keep an eye. It's, the only battle on this track right now is for the lead, and neither one of them want to.
Yeah, but he's going to fall back in behind the 94 machine. I'm surprised with all this side-by-side racing that Terrian's not closing in that much. Usually you see them closing in, but that 24 machine have an upset here tonight.
Yeah, you could, and for some odd reason, we are having a connection issue here with the internet. Hopefully it stables out here shortly. We may have to do some adjusting here, but it looks like it's back to normal. So we do apologize for that, as sometimes it's just out of our control. Yeah, we're going back to the racing here. Just like you said earlier, unfortunate for these guys that had, such hopes of doing good here. and then to be out of this race early. Like you said, the ones that needed it the most are the ones that had the worst luck here. So it's unfortunate, but it is part of racing. And if it was going to be a track that would do it to you, Texas is one of those tracks that can, it looks fairly simple, but it can come up and it can bite you pretty hard.
Yeah, well, it's always, they always talk about Texas, everything's bigger in Texas. Well, we've seen some big upsets in the past here at this track in real life and, on the sim as well. And it's going to be a stretch, but, anything can happen. You can't, until that checkered flag is waved, there's not really much you can do. We're coming up on lap 99 now, coming up on lap 100, so we're going to see everyone's kind of spread out a little bit now. We do have the 88 back out on track, but there's only 7 cars on the lead lap. Robert Kennedy, is going to round out the lead lap cars. He is 6 seconds back, so not much going on. The leaders are really the only battle. Like you said, all night they've been consistently passing each other, so we got about 33 laps to go here, so maybe they can make something happen. That Lariah is going to try to beat Adam and find a way to get around him. Maybe they'll try that high lane again to see if there's any speed up there, because that's really going to be a deciding factor.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be a deciding factor for this race and for the championship, as we'll have to figure out what those are coming into next week's race. However, what we do know, we're pretty sure here, according to our math, hopefully it's fairly decent anyway, but we're fairly certain that our top 4, Michael Finlayson, Michael Lariah, Adam de Blasio, and Shane Terrian, coming into tonight's race, they were in the top 4. We're pretty confident to say that exiting this race, they will be the 4 in the next round of 4. Obviously, Bradley Burke is not going to make it. He is out of this race in 12th place, so there's no chance he could possibly get in. He can't earn any more points. Ryan Dyson, he's still fighting. I think his night's probably done. He will probably take 6th place in the points, but I don't think he'll move much further. Maybe 5th, we'll see. But Dylan Roberts in 5th place right now. Still in 5th place on the track as he's coming up to the line to start lap 103. So I wouldn't say he's completely out of it. He has a clean car, but I just don't think he has the time to get some of those positions. And even if he did, he would have to get the win and then possibly have Shane Terrian finish somewhere around 7th, 8th, possibly even 9th in order for him to actually advance.
Yeah, that's the thing with this kind of playoff system. Everything can change in an instant. We thought coming into the night that we thought maybe Michael Finlayson would turn it around and pick up a win, his second win here, to lock him in. But you look at the bottom of the scoreboard, and there's a lot of those big name drivers from the whole season that were hoping to come in here tonight and really show what they could, show what they had and really lock themselves into the next round. But it isn't meant to happen for some of these drivers. And I'm looking here, Adam de Blasio, your current leader, and Michael Lariah, they're the only ones really running those solid, consistent times. They're running 31.4s, about 31.5s. And you go back to 3rd place with Shane Terrian, and he's running a 31.7. So I don't know where they're getting their speed from, but they are so consistent, and I'm not sure if they're teammates or not, but man, are they putting on a show, and I'm hoping to see them battle at the end. It'd be interesting to see a side-by-side finish for the race.
It definitely would be very interesting to see that, as we'll pull that up real fast here and to see. Talking about Adam de Blasio and Michael Lariah. So we'll look here and see. Actually, for that matter, looking here in their race communication, I do not see either one of them actually in a race channel together. So looks like if they're talking through the iRacing communication, they are not talking race communication over in Discord. The only ones that we see over there are Dylan Roberts, Josh Adams, Robert Kinney, and Shane Terrian from Sky Motorsports. That is actually it. So there are a lot of people missing over there that we would normally get to talk to.
Yeah, so I guess maybe they're not teammates, but nonetheless, I think what this race is going to come down to is possibly fuel mileage. Not 100, like I said, we're not 100% sure what their fuel mileage is. We know that some drivers pit halfway through the first stage, but that wasn't for fuel. That was just strategy-wise. But we haven't really seen what I think is a forced green flag pit stop for fuel. So we are going to start lap 109 here. So it's coming down to the end of this race, but there still is a good bit of laps to go, and I can't imagine they're going to be able to make it the whole way, but I've been proven wrong like 4 times this race, so I'm done making decisions.
Yeah, we'll pull it up there. We have had 2 cautions here for tonight. One of those, of course, was the stage caution, so we've only actually had 1 actual caution for a wreck, and that was the wreck that unfortunately probably sealed the fate for Ryan Dyson, involving him and the 88 of Joshua Adams. We've had 8 caution laps. We have 24 laps to go. That is it. In 4 laps, we will be at the 20 to go mark. We've had 4 different lead changes. However, only 2 different leaders, as Michael Laraya has led 48 laps and Adam de Blasio has led 61 laps. So, again, 4 different lead changes, but only 2 different leaders here in tonight's race. You know, and I'm shocked because everything is bigger in Texas. I thought maybe we'd have a big car, not car count, but a big amount of leaders that swapped it out here, but not so much. They're doing the 2-step here, only 2 different leaders.
Yeah, and with only 8 caution laps, you know, that doesn't give you much time to think about your next move. I mean, we only have 6 cars now on the lead lap. Jamie Dyson did take his machine to pit road for some repairs, I believe. And these 2 front guys are just unbelievably fast compared to the rest of the field. We have Shane Terrian sitting 3rd. He is now almost 2.7 seconds behind these leaders. And even Michael Laraya is falling back just a little bit off the back end of that 94 machine. But they're still running pretty consistent times. We've seen them fall back a little bit and just pull right back up and pass. It seems like that might be a factor again towards the end of this race. Laraya might be saving a little bit of what he's got for the end, but well, like we said, we don't know if they'll have to pit again, or we might even see another freak caution. A lot can change here.
It very well can, as we are on lap 113 of 133. So this next time by will be the official 20 to go mark, and I think that's the highest that lap counter has seen in a long time. To see triple digits on both 113 of 133. We don't typically see that many laps here, so we'll definitely be watching. As right there officially is 20 to go here in the race, and at this point I really think Shane Terrian has a decently fast car, but I think you would probably agree that this race, unless something happens drastically, this race is probably going to be won by Adam de Blasio or Michael Laraya.
Yeah, for sure. We do still have, we'll say, Jamie Dyson back on track. He's trying to make his way through the lead lap cars, because he is a lap car. Did get some fresh tires, and Ryan Dyson is still putting along out there, trying to make the most he can out of the night. His front end is pretty damaged. I'm actually surprised he made it this far without blowing up, but he might bring it home. It looks like 9th place tonight, but not much is going on really right now other than the top 2, which I guess is probably the best 2 battles. And you can see, right, like I said earlier, the 44 machine pulling back up to the back end of the 94. So yeah, I have a feeling that we're gonna see this the whole way to the end.
Yeah, good news for the 28 is he's probably getting some really good airflow to that radiator. So hopefully it'll stay that way for him, but a really good battle up front.
Yeah, no overheating problems for the 28, hopefully. But Yeah, the 44 really aggressive on corner entry. 94 kind of a little more conservative, but he's getting that run off the corner. Might be a little too early to try to make the move, but the farther we go, the more the tires wear out, the harder it's going to be to pass. So I don't know if I'd be waiting around much longer to make the pass there for the lead if I think my car is capable. And we can see Jamie Dyson just coming into the picture back there, running faster lap times, probably going to catch these guys before the end. So he might throw a little bit of a, throw some trouble at him here towards the end.
Yeah, he could definitely shake it up here for these guys. And the thing is, it's not that he necessarily wants to get up there and battle with these guys. It's that he's going to be a lot faster. Well, I say that anyway. He just ran a 31.3. Adam and de Blasio and Michael Arai running 31.8. So he's only about 0.3 faster. But 0.3 means he will catch them. So the question is, will they let him by? Will he hold off and not try to get by him? Or will it get crazy up here? Will we see maybe the 11 try to make a pass because he is faster? And possibly the 44 try to make a use of that and try to get by him as well.
Yeah, if that 11 machine can dive to the bottom, get underneath that 44 and maybe even the 94, that opens a lane up behind him. That 11 car is going to be quicker. So if Michael Araya can get down behind him, maybe take advantage of that hole that he opens on the inside. If he takes the inside, we've seen in the outside as well work tonight. So he's catching them right now. Going to be right on him here for this going into turn 1.
Yeah, he is indeed right there with him. Again, for anyone that's just tuning in, this is first, second, and currently 7th. As the 11 of Jamie Dyson is 1 lap down, but with fresher tires, as he almost gets into the outside wall there, trying to get something going, but fresher tires, I think are going to be enough to get by, but right now, he hasn't got by him yet, but he is right there on their back bumper.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's going to try to get by him. We've seen it before where lap cars just, give the leaders a little bit of leeway. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case here as he tries to head to the high side. We've seen him get a little loose last lap. Obviously, these cars aren't tightening up as much as I thought they were going to. More staying on the loose side. So, it's crazy. He's trying to get up around. He's going to get the run off. And he's going to maybe get to the inside of that 44 as they head to turn 1.
Yeah, he is right there going to the inside. And again, even if something happens between these guys, these two are pretty much secure that they're going to make it as the 11 does get by. And I'm not sure maybe that the 44 didn't I wouldn't say let him by, but didn't fight him as much as he probably could have. Because he is fast. We'll see here. Maybe that 44 is going to try to make a run here when the 11 gets by the 94. If the 11 of Jamie Dyson can get by Adam de Blasio, we'll see if he's able to do so or not. Is this last lap 32.2 for Michael Laraya and a 31.9 for Adam de Blasio. Meanwhile, Jamie Dyson running 31.9s as well. So Adam de Blasio is actually right there with Jamie Dyson, who has new tires.
Yeah, he's not, like you said, the 44 may have let the 11 machine by in hopes that he does hold up this 94 machine. Looks like he's on the back bumper, but the 44 fell back a little bit. He's now half a second behind the 94 machine, which is probably the farthest he's been back all night. So he's going to try to hope that this 11 car can, mess up this 94's groove and, get him up out of his line. But I also saw a lap car up ahead, and I don't know if they're going to be able to catch him or not. But, that might be a factor as well, as we're under 10 to go.
We are indeed 9 laps to go. Adam de Blasio trying to do everything he can to hold off the 11. And I'm not sure what happened. It looks like the 11 of Jamie Dyson got a little loose there. And he will concede the spot back to the 44, even though it wasn't for a position. If Michael Araya was counting on the 11 trying to make a hole for him to get through, that is not going to happen now.
Yeah, and that sticks Michael Araya about half a second behind. Not really what he wanted. I'm not sure what happened with the 11 car. Maybe race control had something to do with that. I'm not sure. But yeah, now he's got his work cut out for him because that 94 machine is running very consistent times. Still not in the 32-second bracket like we saw earlier. Real close to it, but he's not in it yet, as we saw Araya run at 32.069 last lap. So a little bit slower. He should be able to pick it up. Maybe he'll be able to use that little bit of the aero draft to pull back up, and because there's nobody else. I mean, Shane Terrian sitting third is 6.5 seconds behind, and it's just farther behind from there. So it's these two guys we're going to be watching here up to the end.
Yeah, they definitely be watching those. We may see a battle for third position here from Grant Davis if he can get by Shane Terrian, but again, nobody battling. This is, like you said, the farthest these front two have been apart from each other. I'm wondering, though, if the 44 maybe backed off a little bit, maybe conserve his tires a little bit, and is going to try to make a run here. If he is, he needs to make it quick. He's got 6 to go, going to be 5 at the line, which is important because if a caution was to come out, now we would go racing again. But if you're watching the 94 of Adam de Blasio as we are, he is coming out of turn 4 into the tri-oval, and right about there, 5 laps to go. If a caution comes out, this race is over. So the 44 definitely needs to get up there and make something happen and get that lead back if he wants to win.
Yeah, and from what I'm seeing here, their times are so close. We do have that lap car up ahead. I was trying to figure out who that was up ahead there. Looks like it might be the 88 machine. Joshua Adams 9 laps down right now, but you know, could play a factor in the end of this race because they are catching him pretty quick. He's up running about 32 4s, 32 5s. So with only a few laps to go, it looks like they may catch him.
Yeah, I believe they probably will. It may be right at the last second, but I think they will catch him as there's 4 laps to go. And I think they're definitely going to catch him. They're on the same backstretch here. As it looked like the 44, Michael Araya, got a little wiggle there and got a little loose on the backstretch. Almost scraped the wall, but he did recover from it. But we'll see how this one goes. Will the lap car come into play? We'll see. It is now 3 laps to go here in the race. This is, again, the last race here in the round of 7. Doing our napkin math here, it is going to be Michael Fendelson, who is in, Michael Araya, Adam de Blasio, and Shane Terrian that are in, and the 44 getting way out of shape there as he goes all the way to the bottom on the backstretch.
Yeah, not really what he wanted. You can tell he's driving his heart out to try to get up to that 94 machine. Really, all we can hope for right now as the leader takes start of lap 132 is maybe that 88 machine taking the bottom lane, forcing the 94 up high. That might be able to mix it up a little bit, but I have a feeling the 88 is going to be being 9 laps down, about to be 10 as he really pulls down to the inside. He's going to concede that spot. So not much help from that lap car to help the 44 at all.
There was not, and unless something happens to the 94 as he comes to the line right there, it is officially 1 lap to go, presented by Northwest Racing Series. That will do it almost anyway. 1 lap to go here for the NC Design Concepts 200 at Texas Motor Speedway. Half a lap separates the 94 of Adam de Blasio from victory lane and locking himself into the round of 4. And again, I don't see any reason he probably won't get that win.
Yeah, for sure. He comes off of turn 4, going to hit the stripe. Adam de Blasio is going to win here at Texas, and that's going to lock in Finlayson, Laria, de Blasio, and Terrian into the round of 4 going on to the next race. So, yeah, that was a good race, especially for the leaders. You know, that was clean racing the whole time. They passed each other. You know, like you said, they were switching back and forth, two-stepping every time for the lead, but very respectful driving.
Yes, definitely a lot of respect for given between all of these drivers. Just an outstanding race here, as you're going to see a little bit of a, well, I thought we were going to see a little love tap there from the 74, or 74, the 44, sorry. as we're going to watch the 94 go do some celebrating here. We'll go ahead and run it through your unofficial race results here, as there is only 12 up, so I'll run through those real fast. Again, coming away with the win here tonight is going to be the 94 of Adam de Blasio. Getting second place is going to be the 44 of Michael Araya. Third place is going to be the 38 of Shane Terrian. Fourth place will be the 31 of Dylan Roberts. Fifth place will go to the 24 of Grant Davis. Sixth place will go to Robert Kenny. Seventh place Jamie Dyson. Eighth place Joshua Adams. Ninth place Ryan Dyson. And 10th place will go to Michael Finlayson. 11th place will be Chuck Sweeting, and rounding out the field in 12th will be Bradley Burke. That will do it here for your unofficial race results. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back here with your post-race show presented by Randy's Wraps and your top 3 interviews coming up in just a few moments. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and apparently there is a ongoing issue here with Discord where we talk to our driver, so it's unfortunate. If we had time, we would try to get him over in our TeamSpeak. But we don't have our winner. We don't have second place, but we do have third place. Shane Terrian here tonight, and we'll get your information up there. Started ninth, finished third. Really doesn't matter if you got the win or not here tonight, as we were doing the napkin math on it, and you set it to, you squeezed it in there, and you move on to the round of 4 here for 3 more races. So what was this race like? It didn't have a whole lot of cars. We were a little short on the car count, but some really good racing anyway between the top 5. So to lock yourself in, just how does it feel, and to know that you're moving on to that Final 4?
It feels great. I'm pretty sure I'm probably the least favorite to win it all, because I don't know. It's gonna be hard to beat Finlayson, Laria, and de Blasio for sure. But man, if it weren't for that caution and me getting past the 14 on that stage, I wouldn't have had enough to beat Dylan. I just had to finish in front of him, because if he got in front of me, he got the tiebreaker. So, but yeah, that was intense last 30 laps.
Yeah, we were doing the best we could, trying to do our napkin math to figure it out with the stage points and all that factoring in. And we had you in. We didn't have a guess on the amount of points, but we were pretty certain we were going to have you in. So just crazy. Looking forward to the next round coming up. We have excuse me, Rockingham, ISM, and Atlanta. what are your thoughts on those 3 tracks selection? And do you have a particular one you're really good at, or maybe 2 of them, or is this going to be a fight all the way to the end?
Depending how I do at Rockingham, it might be a fight because I'm really good at ISM. Atlanta, I'm not, so I need to either win Rockingham and finish top 2 in ISM, or vice versa to even have a chance. But yeah, because I am not good in Atlanta. As you can see, it's probably gonna be just like this race, tire saving. It's gonna be that 94 and the 44 just pulling away. So I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
Well, indeed, we'll be looking to see how it goes, as it looks like at the last minute, it looks like they're able to get in here. So we'll let you get to your sponsors and anyone you want to give a shout out to, and we do have second and third with us here now, or first and second, sorry.
Yeah, I just want to thank Evil Controllers. They'll be with me again next week, as well as the Cage, new sponsor coming on next season. And then my teammates Josh, who raced tonight, and then Walker, who couldn't race tonight, and then of course you guys for broadcasting. I know it was a short car count, but at least we put on a show for you.
All right, well, it was a good race to watch. Again, congrats on third place and being locked into the round of 4. Speaking of another driver who is in the round of 4, finishing second place here tonight, there for a minute didn't think we were going to get to talk to you. That is the 44 of Michael Araya. You finished second. You're in the round of 4. So hopefully you're looking forward to that round. And same question, is there a particular track that you think you have a really good round or a good shot at here to get the win and possibly some stage points to help you out?
I'm definitely looking forward to Rockingham. I think that's a track that's going to suit my driving style the best. I believe we're going to Phoenix after. Let's see.
That would be correct.
Phoenix is a track I've been all over the board. We had the day race earlier in the year, and I was really strong there. But the night race has given me some problems in the past. It's very track position heavy of a track. So you got to stay on your game there. And then Atlanta, that's one of my best tracks too. I'm glad it's one of the finals. So if I can just get out of Rockingham with a good finish and then kind of maintain at Phoenix and at least either hopefully have the lead going into Atlanta or very close to the lead, I think I have a shot at it.
Well, definitely it was an awesome race here between you and Adam there for the lead for quite a few laps throughout the entire race. At some point, y'all were actually side-by-side battling here. So give us a just quick rundown before we get to your sponsors of what it was like up there battling with Adam, knowing that coming in to the night, you were second and third in the points. So you both had a pretty safe shot of being locked in anyway, but obviously you wanted to win. So what was that battle like between you two?
Well, I know Adam is a very clean driver, and both him and I feel like our driving styles are pretty darn similar. We both excel on the long run. So I knew coming into tonight, this was going to be quite the battle between the two of us, and it definitely turned out to be that way. I know on that last run there to the end of the race, I messed up coming out of turn 2 there, and he was able to get a run on me, and I knew right then and there I had to battle him hard because it was going to be really difficult to get by him after that because he's such a smooth driver. He had something figured out off of 2 that I could not mimic or hit consistently. 3 and 4, I felt like I was just as good, if not better, but it wasn't a big enough difference to capitalize on what he found off of turn 2 there. So once he got by me, I knew I had my work cut out for me, and I was trying there, and then about with 2 to go, I got really loose on the back straightaway. I'm like, okay, just back it down. It's not worth wrecking myself out of this thing. So he pretty much had it right then and there, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, it definitely was fun to watch from up here in the booth. Again, we're looking forward to seeing how this plays out in the next 3 weeks before we crown a champion and get ready for the next season. Speaking of that, of course, we know you got some sponsors and shout outs. So who would those be for that second place finish and moving on to the next round?
I got to give a shout out to Profile Machine Products for being on board the car and sponsoring the league. I also got to thank my flat out teammates, Grant Davis and Bradley Burke, and then Adam will officially be on board Flat Out Motorsports in 2019. So obviously we have a really solid group of guys as far as talent, and it's only going to get better moving forward. And then I got to give a shout out to my other sponsors, Autolite and Lowe's, and any family and friends that are watching the broadcast. And of course, you for putting on the broadcast too.
All right. Well, definitely, we're glad for the kind words, and we're glad to be here. And we'll jump over to the unofficial, official teammate of 2019. That is the 94 of Adam de Blasio. You started first, you finished first, you led 85 laps here. So obviously, coming into this race, I would imagine you probably thought you had a pretty good shot here. And definitely let us know if this was not the case. But how did the car handle here for you? Being at Texas, it was a fairly warm track, about 107 when we came in earlier. I'm sure that went up, but how did the car handle here, being that we only had 2 cautions, and we saw significant tire wear, so as far as speed, but did that affect the handling of this car as well?
It absolutely affected handling. It's kind of felt like Atlanta, where you were wrecking down the quad oval. I was sideways through the quad oval after like 25-30 laps, so I had to do. I was talking with Lariah and Grant earlier, and they said that they had to deal with the same thing, sideways in the quad oval. So, just when you know that that's coming, you just gotta manage your rear tires so you can put the power down on the long run. And as a result, you don't want to get on the gas too hard on corner exit. So basic stuff that we all know to do. At least I know Lariah knows to do that too. We were talking about that too. But other than that, 1 and 2 has always been my strong suit. And I don't know why, but I figured out turn 2. I cannot explain what I do. And it's not because I don't want to say what I do. I just have a feel for what the car should feel like off from 2. Whereas 3 and 4, I struggled so mightily hard tonight. And at one point, I actually let Lariah go on lap 13 or 14 just to get behind him to see what he was doing in 3 and 4. And I figured out what he was doing, but I tried replicating it, but he could hit that more consistently, and I could hit turn 2 more consistently.
Well, definitely consistency does win championships. And, when you look at consistently, you two have been consistent all season long. So, of course, as well as Shane here, it only seems fitting that y'all are in the round of 4 for 3 races. So, before we get to your sponsors and shout-outs, same kind of question here. Moving into the round of 4, you have Rockingham, ISM Raceway, and Atlanta. How do you fare at those tracks typically going into them? And do you have 1, 2, or maybe all 3 that you do fare really good at that you think are going to be your tracks to shine and get as many points as you can?
You're going to laugh at this, but I guess I have to buy Rockingham now because I'm on a strict budget being a recent college grad, and I've been very strict to only buy NASCAR Cup car content, and Rockingham is in a track that the Cup Series goes to, so I've never run a lap on it, let alone I haven't even purchased it. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Phoenix, I don't know. that's a toss-up race. But Atlanta tonight felt like Atlanta, and I felt like Lariah and I will have a fun time at Atlanta to wrap up the season. But I have no idea what's going to happen at Rockingham.
Well, I don't think that is anywhere near what I expected was going to come out. Definitely, I think you want to get that pretty soon and start practicing, as that will come up in obviously less than a week here as this race is over, so it's technically less than a week before we get there. But I think you'll do pretty good if you do anything like you've done all season. So an outstanding run for you here tonight to get the win. Moving on to the round of 4. So who are those sponsors on that car, and who do you need to give a shout out to for that victory and to moving on?
First off, I want to thank Ryan for putting on the league. Without the league, obviously, there would be no Final Four. I want to thank you guys for broadcasting the race. I know it's sometimes a struggle with car counts at the end of the season, and we are struggling with that in this league. But I hope Lariah and I put on a good show to keep it entertaining for you up in the broadcast booth. So there's that. I want to thank my Rapolo Brother Racing teammates for originally getting me to run this league. You've probably seen Joseph Tyson, Carl Shed in previous broadcasts. Those are the two that race the most in this league. I want to thank my Flat Out Motorsports unofficial, whatever you want to call them, teammates. Michael Ryan, Raleigh Grant Davis, and Bradley Burke. They're awesome people to hang out with, and I thank them for allowing me to be on the team next year. They're just a great group to hang out with. Forget iRacing. They're just fun to talk with and stuff like that. And that's what I look for when I look for a team. My fourth gear gaming teammates, who I race with on a different series. Same story. They're an awesome group to just chat with, and I think we may play some Minecraft this week with them. And I always forget this, but for the first time, I want to thank Ryan Dyson for painting my car. I keep forgetting to thank him, and he's the one that paints my car because I don't know anything about painting, and he did a pretty good job. And glad that I could get his paint scheme in Victory, or the paint scheme I requested that he made into Victory Lane. I want to thank Eric for being an awesome brother that he always bounces off ideas during the week with races and stuff. And Syracuse is on the car. Might as well give a shout out to them because they gave me a good education, class of 2016. And I'm officially a NASCAR driver because I think my sponsors list was longer than my race interview now.
Well, there you go. You got a lot of people to thank. Obviously, hopefully we didn't miss anyone, but I think we got everyone in there. Again, congrats to you on the win. Obviously, to Michael on second place and to Shane on third. That is just about going to wrap it up here for tonight's race, folks. We want to thank all the sponsors as well here for tonight's race. Of course, those are Our Expression, CrowderCrew.com, MyCarDoc, Profile Machine Products, Eddie's Sports Bar, Drive for Suicide Prevention, Car Zip, The Drill Spill, and NC Design Concepts. And of course, on the broadcast side of things, big shout out to all of our partners for coming on board here for 2018. That is Walls Beard Co., Sim Speed Shop, Northwest Racing Series, Ohio IndyCar League, iBog, and Randy's Wraps here for the post-race show. That will wrap it up. We'll be live again in just under an hour with the Northwest Truck Series, so stay tuned for that, and we'll see you there.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be used in any form without the authorized written consent of Virtual Racing Network. VRN would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.